My fiancé cheated on me 4 months before our wedding, and she blames me for it. So I made her regret her actions. When I found out my fiancé was lying to me and she was meeting with her coworker behind my back, I asked to see her text messages. She wouldn't let me see. I said, why not if there's nothing to hide? Are you having an affair? Do you not want to be together anymore? She pauses and proceeds to tell me all the things that are wrong with me. I work too much. I don't spend enough time with her. Don't listen. I'm astonished at this point. All of this is news to me. I put two and two together at this point. I know something sketchy is going on. I again asked to see the texts. It took about a half hour of convincing to see these texts, and they were crazy. Sexual in nature, and a lot of the conversations were bad-talking me. She went on to say how she wanted to be with him and how they were essentially in love. She started this job almost 2 months ago. He is also 15 to 20 years older and divorced with multiple kids. I have been financially supporting her for the last few months as she got back on her feet and was working extra, so she wouldn't have to pick up a part-time job. We own a house which we both live in with 3 dogs and a horse. I did not see this coming as we were going to get married in 4 months. A few days later, I was finally able to sit down with her and go over this. Again, she came in trying to blame me for what she did, trying to justify the cheating and lying as a direct result of my lack of communication and listening. She said she wouldn't have had to start talking to this guy if I had been listening better. I spend too much time in the office working and don't dedicate enough time to her. I tried to explain that I was putting in extra hours to try and support her and the family financially while she was struggling so she wouldn't have to get a part-time job. She said she would have rather gotten a part-time job, which makes no sense to me. She was under the impression that because this was a short-lived fling that had been going on for a week, and they only made out once. She finished by saying we could move past this. When I brought up the text where she was trashing me and talking sexually with him, she deflected hard, and I got nowhere with that. I told her that I was not the reason that this was happening. She went too far and should have communicated with me or thought about the implications first, that I can never trust her again, and this is all because of her actions. Whether she wants to try and justify this as my fault is up to her. At the end of this part, it got a bit calmer. I said, listen, we just really need to figure out the house we own jointly and the 3 dogs. We came to the conclusion that either I stay and buy her out or we sell and get new places. For the dogs, so far we decided one of us will get one the other 2. Financially, I can support keeping the house alone, but it is nearly 3,000 square feet and 5 acres of land which was bought solely to have her horse. She is taking the horse when she leaves and boarding it at a barn. My mindset behind working so much was to support the family. I run an e-commerce business on the side and am a one-man customer service center, and deals happen 24 hours a day. I am never not on the clock. I could have certainly been better about setting my phone aside and responding to people the next day. The lack of communication was on both ends, and a prime example of this is the fact that I was unaware she was unhappy with any of this. It was never communicated to me. She said she felt I would have gotten upset if she told me, but never gave me the chance to work on it. I am not a perfect person by any means, and many times I do or say things that are misinterpreted by her as rude. An example of this is a week or 2 ago, I was trying to help her with a budget with her financial problems to try to set up a plan to get her on track. To note, I work in the financial industry and do this for clients all the time. She had mentioned that she owed me maybe $1,000 and that she would get that back to me with her next paycheck. I said something like, I think it's a little bit more than that. Let's go through the transfers I have made to our joint account. It ended up being over $5,000. My purpose for doing this was not to make her feel bad, but to realize how much I have been contributing. She took this as me trying to humiliate her. Was just trying to help, and maybe my timing was off. She told me I had been too focused on money lately, but I was only trying to make sure we were going to be okay. We still had quite a bit to pay for the wedding, and my budgeting mentality was on overload, trying to make sure we had enough. The fact that she keeps trying to justify what she did by attributing that as a direct correlation to my flaws really bothers me. She keeps telling me that she is surprised I would throw away 7 years of a relationship away like this. I keep having to remind her that I didn't throw it away. She did with her actions. She told me that I told too many people too quickly, and we could have resolved all of this between us. She also said that she wouldn't have had to talk to someone else if I was a better listener and communicator. I have finally determined the extent of the affair, which I actually believe, based on the texts that I read. They began talking 1 to 2 weeks before via text. I don't know if they had met up before outside of work, but this time around he had asked her out to the park to play basketball and talk. She met up with him and they ended up making out. I truly believe it didn't go further than this yet, but it would have in the near future, I am sure. She says he is not her boyfriend. She also took off that night and I have no idea where she is at. I'm assuming she is with him or a girlfriend. It is an awkward living situation, but I am hoping this resolves in the near term. I do think she wants me to get back with her and try to repair that. I think that the main issue was a lack of communication that manifested for a long time. We got into a routine and lived our boring, simple life, and meanwhile, this problem was never discussed and grew over time. She acted out instead of talking to me and also lied to my face and talked a lot of crap about me behind my back. She can be very sneaky, and I don't think I can fully trust her again. Obviously, this would be the easiest thing to do, but I don't think I would ever be truly happy. Understanding the root cause has helped me feel better. If nothing else, it will allow me to address my personality flaws and communication issues and see things from another perspective. I started hitting the gym today and will keep a routine going. I also plan on picking back up on studying for my Certified Financial Planner designation. I took the week off of work to focus on my mental health. Today, I called the wedding venue and officially canceled the date. We were able to get some money back, but lost a bit, unless the date could be resold to another couple, which was unlikely. I also spoke with her parents again to keep them apprised. They live far away and I am sure are worried sick. I continue to let them know everything is fine and calm, and they don't need to worry about their daughter. I did some research, and with interest rates where they are today, I will not be able to find a comparable house for the mortgage I pay our current one. Hell, I can barely find an apartment for less nowadays. I think my best option is to try and buy out her share and have her find an apartment. She seems agreeable at this time. We will have an appraiser out to assess value and see what half of the equity would be, and if that is doable for me. It's been a month since those events transpired, and I am not going to lie, the few days after this happened to me, I was a pathetic mess groveling to get back with that cheating piece of garbage. It's embarrassing to admit, but it happened, and it was all part of the process of moving on. While in this vulnerable state, I tried everything I could to do things right and make things better, but nothing worked. I was actually told that she had to make a decision, me or him, and she did the right thing choosing him. I think that's when I woke up and realized I had let my self-worth go down the drain, and I needed to take a step back and really focus on me and what was best for me. It is hard after 7 years of doing everything for someone else to focus on your own needs, but that's exactly what I have been doing since. I moved our joint savings accounts to my individual checking account. I did the math of what was owed to me and transferred half of the balance back to the joint account for her to take. I have been working out every day since this happened. It makes me feel good to not only improve how I look, but helps me continue to think clearly. I've gone suit shopping and started going out with friends and family more. Not only was this relationship isolating my friends and family, which should have been a red flag I noticed, but I never did anything for myself. Buying clothes is just something I would rarely do. I was always worried about providing for my significant other. I've been seeing a therapist for the first time in my life on a weekly basis. It helps me talk things out and my decision-making. It is something I will probably continue to do after this situation resolves, just to continue to improve myself. Now for the bigger items, I am still living in the house with my ex. She is sleeping in the guest bedroom, and we are at a point where the only communication is, "Did you feed the dogs?" I think she is a terrible person, and no matter what I say, in her mind, this is my fault. To accuse someone of being a bad communicator and then to use that as an excuse to not communicate her feelings to me and cheat is her being a hypocrite and an easy out in her delusional mind. I stopped trying to reason with her because she is completely unreasonable. I have been keeping the ball rolling with listing the house for sale. I contacted an agent, had them come, and was happy with the proposed sale price. She then requested that I contact 2 other agents and get their opinions, one of which was recommended by her friend. Yes, I made all the calls, set up all the appointments, and met with these people. This is how the relationship always was, and even though it's not fair, I have been willing to do it all to get the hell out of here. After meeting with all 3, we ended up going with the first agent. Pictures were taken on Sunday, and the house was listed for sale Sunday night. The open house is next Saturday, and it's already getting a lot of attention on real estate websites. She will be taking the horse to a barn somewhere. I had a conversation about the dogs and offered to take one or none. She said she would take all 3 of them to keep them together. They are a happy bunch, and I don't want to fight over taking one if that will break them up. It also selfishly allows me to pursue a clean start. Unexpectedly, I met someone about a week ago that I've been spending quite a bit of time with. I have no false expectations here, but am enjoying hanging out with her. She's been through a similar situation in the past and has been helping me through this. It's really eye-opening to speak with a kind, thoughtful, and independent woman. It makes me realize what a narcissist my ex was. Completely self-centered, dependent, and manipulative. I should have listened to the warnings from family and friends long ago. I definitely fell into the trap of being in a simple routine. I wasn't enjoying life. It was just an easy situation to be in. Nice house, lots of land, and great animals didn't want to rock the boat, so I just continued on. You don't really realize this until you take a step back and truly reflect. Some might say it was wasted time, but I am really using this as a learning experience. I will not ignore red flags in the future. I will not fall into the simplicity trap. I will continue to maintain relationships with friends and family. I am looking forward to the next chapter in my life, wherever it takes me. Thank you all for listening, truly.